वन्दे जगत्कारणं वन्दे पन्नगभूषणं शशिधरं वन्दे पशूनां पतिं वन्दे सूर्यशशाङ्कवह्निनयनं वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियं वन्दे भक्तजन आश्रयं च वरदं वन्दे भक्तजन आश्रयं च वरदं वन्दे शिवं शङ्करं. Friends, truth is unknown to none. Love is felt by everybody. Though we know the truth, we are not jnanis. Though we feel the love, we are not bhaktas. Everybody knows that it is bad to tell a lie. But we do tell lies. Everybody knows that to harm others is wrong, but we do harm others. Knowing and feeling are different from practicing truth and practicing love. The theoretical knowledge of truth and the theoretical experience of love are not yoga. Yoga is practically to experience the reality of the truth. The absolute truth is to be practiced. Everybody knows that death is certain. Who does not know it? Every person born on this earth is sure to die. Everybody knows the truth, but all are not yogis. He who is capable of facing the death without any disturbance, without any commotion, without any tension, without any anxiety, is a yogi. Many people know the truth, but a few people only can experience the truth. Jnana Yoga is at the theoretical way and Jnana Yoga is in the practical functioning. When we are performing the activities, reading is an activity, writing is an activity, sitting is an activity, doing is an activity, all are actions. We are not free from actions. When these activities are prompted by the truth, when they are on the basis of truth, when they are to have the undercurrent of truth, and when they are performed with the cosmic love, then it is Karma Yoga. Practice of truth is Jnana Yoga. Feeling the cosmic love and practicing that love every moment is Bhakti Yoga. With the undercurrent of truth and with the approach of love, when we perform the activities, it is Karma Yoga. All the three are not watertight compartments. They are interrelated, and all of them can be acquired, enjoyed when we practice Raja Yoga. No yoga is a watertight compartment. Yoga has all the other three. Every yoga to that matter has the remaining yogas. Therefore, the wholesome person is to experience the yogic life. For that, we have to know the truth and practice the truth. We take the commonest example that everybody is sure to die. This is the truth. We know the truth. This truth was known and practiced in Krita Yuga. Long ago, so long ago, no one knows how long ago. Once upon a time, the people were all yogis and they knew the truth and they practiced this truth without any tension. How, sir? In Krita Yuga, everybody knew when he would die. come to Prashanti, they reserve the return tickets. They know when their train is, when they have to leave Prashanti. Similarly, everybody who came to the earth reserved his return journey. And that return journey ticket is called death. When are you returning? On the 12th of December, on the 6th of December, on the 20th of December. You tell the dates. Similarly, in Kruta Yuga, when people were asked, you have come to the earth on the 6th of August. When are you returning? After 40 years, on the 30th of August, I returned to my original place. There was no tension. When did you come to Prashanti? On such and such a day. When are you going to return? On such and such a day. Where is the tension in it? In Kruta Yuga, everybody was practicing this yoga, that is, they knew the death dates. Similarly, they loved all. In the Mahabharata, there was a beautiful story about this death. In Kruta Yuga, people were aware of their date of death. And so, when that death date was fast approaching, they used to invite their friends and relatives. My dear friends, my dear relatives, on the 12th of August, I am returning to my heaven, my original abode. Please come to me. On such and such a day, I am going to US. My flight is at such and such a time. Please see me off. Friends and relatives used to come and see him off when he boards the flight, aircraft or train. Similarly, in those days, friends and relatives were coming on the day man was to die or woman was to die. And the goddess of death, Mrityu Devata, or god of death, used to come well dressed like a bride or like a bridegroom, and the person, man or woman, would go receive Mrityu Devata. Welcome sir, welcome madam, good evening, good morning, let us return. And with Mrityu Devata, the man or woman was going back to the heaven. It was a function. It was a happy occasion because everybody knew the truth. Gradually, people fell from the yogic heights. The enlightened people became more and more ignorant, and they did not like the man to die. They did not like Mrityu Devata to come. Therefore, the welcome was not very, very happy. They were not receiving Mrityu Devata with all fun and farce. They were angry with Mrityu Devata for taking the man away or woman away, and they were cursing, scolding, sometimes weeping. Then Mrityu Devata went to the Creator Brahma. Brahmaji, you asked me to go to the earth and bring the people. I am going and bringing. Once upon a time, they were receiving me with all the warmth of affection. They were shaking hands with me and they were coming with me. It was all a happy occasion, just as the birth was a happy occasion. Death was also a happy occasion. Everything went on very well. But nowadays, they are not welcoming me well. They are angry with me. They are sorrowful. They are weeping. What shall I do? Mrityu Devata went on weeping in front of Brahma. Then Brahma said, hereafter you don't go. Then who will go to bring them? From your tears, drops of tear, kannir, from each drop will be born a new disease. That disease will go as your messenger, and that disease will bring that person to hell or heaven. So one drop produced cancer. Another drop was typhoid. Another drop was HIV. Another drop was TB. Another drop was leprosy. From all the drops of tears, diseases came. Mrityu Devata stopped coming. Only the diseases were coming and people were dying. Now, instead of scolding death, people were cursing cancer, dirty cancer. It has killed my son. Dirty HIV, it killed my father. Dirty TB, it killed my brother. People were cursing the diseases, not death. This is a story mentioned in Mahabharata to indicate people have fallen from the enlightened state of knowing the truth and practicing the truth to ignorance. Now, yoga is to revive that enlightenment. Yoga is to make us again aware of the truth. Not only should we be aware of truth, but we should experience it and we should live that. Love also, theoretically we speak wonderful love. We don't really feel it. There are two characters. One is Gautama Buddha. He is the embodiment of prema, love, compassion. Adi Shankara, the very embodiment of knowledge. When death was coming to him, he smiled at death and welcomed death and embraced death, Adi Shankara. He did not feel sorry. He was a witness to death. After all, this body would die. Let it fall. Let me be a witness to my own sickness. Let me be a witness to my death. That's what Adi Shankara felt. Gautama Buddha, he felt pity for everyone. He loved everyone. When a goat was being taken to the sacrificial altar, it was weeping, it was crying. Gautama Buddha felt the pain of it. He asked the man, please spare the goat. Leave the goat. Instead of the goat, please take me, please kill me. His love was universal. He was kind towards everybody. Even if a flower was to fade, he used to weep. Now, there are two types of sadhana. One, those who would like to practice. I have the right hand. All of you have the right hand. This right hand of mine has a wound. Your right hand, let us presume, imagine, also has the right wound. Two ways. Number one, when you have the pain on your right hand, I don't feel it. When I have the wound on my right hand, I feel the pain of it. One sadhana. When you have the wound on your right hand, I should feel the pain. That is bhakti, prema, compassion, daya, advesta sarva bhutanam, maitraha karunayevacha. Anywhere anybody is to suffer, that suffering is mine. If I am able to experience that cosmic love, if somebody meets with an accident in Delhi, I feel the pain of it. If somebody has a wound on the right hand, I feel the pain of it as though it is on my right hand. The second experience, I don't feel your pain. Similarly, when there is a wound on my hand, I should not feel the pain. I am a spectator to your hand. Let me be a spectator to my hand. When I look at your hand, I don't feel the pain. Similarly, when I look at my hand, I should not feel the pain. Either I should be indifferent to my body as I am indifferent to the body of others, or I should feel the pain as I feel the pain of my hand when I see the hands of others pained. Two sadhanas. If we are able to feel, then we are yogis. There is no meaning in speaking of yoga without experiencing it. when I know the cosmic truth, when I am only a spectator of everything, let me be a spectator to this body. Let me not feel the pain. That's what Vivekananda practiced. He came out and he developed that love. When he was the son of Bhuvaneshwari Devi, he loved his few brothers and sisters. And his love started expanding. When he went to Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi's spiritual mother, his brothers and sisters increased in number. All the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna became his brothers. Love expanded, increased, enlarged. After the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, he moved from Calcutta to Kanyakumari, walking all the way, mostly walking. And all through his journey, he saw many Indians suffering. He felt their pain. He was moved with their plight. He loved them all. So the small brothers in Bhuvaneshwari Devi's house expanded to large brotherhood, the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. And then when he came to Mother Bharat, all the children of India are considered to be his brothers and sisters. He came to Kanyakumari and he was there on the 25th, 26th and 27th of December 1892. Kanyakumari directed him to go to Chicago. From Bombay Harbor to Chicago he travelled. All through his journey he found many people. All of them became his brothers and sisters. Love expanded. And at Chicago on the 11th of September, when he found that ocean of humanity sitting in front of him, so many people, about 6,000 people sitting in front of him, all of them appeared to him as brothers and sisters. He loved, his love further expanded. Bhuvaneshwari Devi's children, small number, brothers and sisters. Holy Mother Sharada Devi's spiritual children, they became the brothers and sisters of Vivekananda. Mother Bharat had many children. All the children became the brothers and sisters of Vivekananda. When he moved from India to Chicago, throughout his journey, everybody appeared to be his brother and sister. And at Chicago, he found everybody. And that is his expansion. Heart expanded with love. And that is the reason he was successful, sisters and brothers of America. Either the love should expand to infinity or truth should expand to universalism, including your body. Adi Shankara looked at death as truth. He looked at his death also as truth. In Kerala,